Chill Girl Chrissy here, Alderman in Ward 6. We're here to fuel your mind, body, and soul with goodness. Open up, share, be real, be raw, overcome, let go, and simply live a joyous life together. Welcome to the Chill and Heal Show, and I have special guest LeeAnn Hayden from
New Hampshire.
Right here in Hampshire. And she's a podcaster,
Mm-hmm.
beautiful bag,
Mm-hmm.
cancer survivor,
Yep.
extraordinary woman, mother, wife, and so much more. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. It really was exciting because I know we've been trying to plan this for a while, and it's just like, when can we make it happen? So here we are, and we're doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you so much. This is awesome. And you shared your bio, and I was just so blown away at all you've been doing and
Thank you.
being a voice to so many. And I was hoping you would share your story.
Yeah.
And because there's so many things that people don't know, and so many people feel alone.
Yeah.
And you're not alone.
Yeah.
And there is knowledge, there's experience, there's real girl conversation.
Yeah.
Real conversation. Doesn't have to be just girls.
Yeah. And this community, I think that a lot of things, especially now, it's more and more people need community. I mean, we went through what we just talked about years ago. I mean, now we're looking back, it's like, well, that was like 4, 5, 6 years ago. And people are craving community still, even more so now than ever.
It's so true. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we started our show at WFEA, Chill and Heal Show, January of 2022.
Yeah.
And because I was like, community. We need to talk about things. We need to connect.
We need people.
We
need people.
And they wanted to isolate us and divide us up. And we're like, no way, Jose.
We weren't having any of it at the time. It was funny because at the time, during all that time, I was living in New York City. So my husband and I were in Manhattan in the height of it all. And I remember the first day when everything had shut down, and I was on the...
And what day was that?
So that was, it was the day before St. Patrick's Day, and my husband remembers it because he's Irish, and he's like, they did it. So the Italian governor did this on purpose to us Irish guys, right? Like, shut us out of the bars.
Yes.
But I remember just because we were on the 50th floor, we lived in Tribeca, and I remember looking out the window and looking down, and all of a sudden, there was nobody in the streets. Like, there wasn't a car, there wasn't a person, there was nobody. And at first, it was frightening, but I remember going in going, oh my gosh, like, then my girlfriends and I were like, we're not staying in the house. We're going to the parks and working out. We're getting fresh air. We're doing the things. And we would go out, and there would be nobody around. We'd walk down. We'd cross West Side Highway without even looking. And then when everything started to lift, we were like, who are these people in our city? Like, why are they here? But yeah, it was like February 2021, John and I moved back to New Hampshire because we're basically...
February 2021. So
February
you
2021.
withstood all of that for a whole year.
We did. And I'll tell you, I look at it and I'm like, it was the best time of our lives. Because we learned so much. We learned how a city who is so diverse could come together, because it did in that way. In certain ways, how people helped each other. But it was like we saw things that we would have never seen being in New Hampshire. We had experiences that we would have never had. We saw the good, the bad. We'd hear some things on the news, and I'm looking out the window, and that's not happening out here. Like, I'm in it. I'm down there. Like the whole thing on Soho's on fire, and they burnt everything down, and they did all this stuff. And I was like, I just walked through Soho, and it was like a dumpster. Somebody set a dumpster on fire, and it was, people did steal and rob, but it was like a professional heist. It was like something that was so not the news was saying. So anyways, we're digressing, but
I think that's why it's so important to connect to see what's actually real.
Yeah.
And
wow, it really is. And it's
real
so
experiences. And so talking about your podcast, when did you end up starting that?
So I did start The Beautiful Bag. I had one called LeeAnn in the City, and it was really just, it was business because I've been in the beauty and wellness industry for a long, long time. And I woke up one day and I'm like, God has a different plan for me, because my journey to this was different. So I can go back and say, I started the podcast in I want to say the January of 2020, like during that COVID time, right, is when I really started. Pre. So like in that time, I said, there needs to be more in the community. And the podcast was called The Beautiful Bag for a reason. And I woke up one day and I'm like, God, I know you have something better for me to do. And what is it? And the whole thing just kind of, it's funny how he works. You know, it just all came down and said, here you go. This is what my plan is for you. And you're going to have to go with it. You know, because prior to that, it's been over 10 years now. In September of 2015, so I'm going to go back 11 years. So September 2015. At the time, I was working with Tyra Banks. She had a cosmetics line that I was helping her, that we were launching, we were growing, we were building this business, and I was going to meet her for the very first time.
Oh, wow.
And right before that, for the year before all of this, step back a few years, I did fitness competitions at the age of 39 because I figured by the time I hit 40, I was old and dead. like how we think.
How we think is like so funny, right?
Like I'm like, I gotta do it before I'm 40 because then I can never do it again. Yeah, no, not so much. But I ended up doing fitness competitions, and during that time, you know, I was always in a bikini, I was always fit, and then from there, I started to gain this weight, and it was unexpected weight, like, and it was all in my belly, and I started to just feel uncomfortable. And my girlfriend goes, "You can't go meet Tyra Banks. You know, I've got a little bit of a stomach. I'm feeling uncomfortable." She's like, "You need to go to the doctor." She goes, "You need to," you know, a little TMI, but I thought maybe it's UTI, maybe I'm premenopausal. Is this what happens to women? And like we just start growing, whatever. So while I was there, and women get this more than men, like, you know, you're at the doctor's feet or in the stirrups, right?
Yes.
You can just do that, and all the women go, "Yeah, I know that feeling," right? And all of a sudden, she just kind of was like, "What the hell is that?" And she patted it, so she felt something. And, you know, in that moment, I'm like, what is what? Like, what are you thinking?
Yeah.
So thought it was a cyst. Did some genetic testing. Testing came back. I have a gene. It's called Lynch syndrome. So it comes from my mother's side of the family, and it's cancer. But first we thought it was a cyst. So we're like, all right, well, let's just go get that out. While we're in there, we'll do full hysterectomy, right?
Yeah.
Hello, instant menopause. Nobody warned you about that.
And you were
At the time of this, I was 44.
44.
Yeah, so I was 44 years old. And full hysterectomy, woke up from that, and she goes, well, good news, bad news. One, everything was clean and clear. Bad news is whatever we thought that wasn't what it was, and it's too far down in your pelvis floor. And I'm like, okay, great. So then they do all these tests. Came back, it was a smooth muscle sarcoma tumor. They thought it was called leiomyo. They said it couldn't be treated with chemo or radiation. It had to be surgically removed, and we needed to do it quickly because it was growing rapidly. And they said, and I mean, I'm 44. We have 5 kids, you know, blended family, all that stuff. And they said, you know, if it hits your bloodstream, then we'd have to try and attack it fast. But the livable rate after that is, you know, it goes down, right? So, so it was in those moments that I was like, okay, and I was still, I'll tell you, vanity and all that other stuff just kind of gets in the way, because I was like, well, I work out all the time, and when the doctor had said, because the end result was a potentially I would have to be in a colostomy bag, depending upon where the tumor was and all of that. And so here's me at the time, I'm like, no, if you need to do that, because I hit Dr. Google, which I tell everybody, don't hit Dr. Google, like, don't go there, it's not even smart. And at the time, nobody was talking about ostomy. So I saw just someone's intestine sticking on the outside of their stomach, and I'm like, and it was all in like an older adult range, and I'm like, I'm 44, 45 years, you know, just turning 45. I'm too young for this. Like, this is no way, not happening. It ended up, he yelled at me. He said, listen, my job is to save your life. So if you do come out of surgery and this is the end result, it's the only choice I had. So I was like, you know what? It was kind of like that wake-up call, like, LeeAnne, you have cancer. Like, stop being an idiot. Like, go get that out. Like, go fix yourself. Wake up from surgery, first thing I said to him, I go, did we get it? And I used a little more explicit word for what I called it, right? I'm like, did we get it? And he goes, yeah, all of it, and you're clear. We got every margin out that we needed to get out. So we got it all, no chemo, no radiation, you're clear.
Wow.
Just like that, yeah.
Wow, I got
We just took this thing. And I was like, so I'm good? And he goes, yeah, you're good. And I was like, all right. And then I kind of rolled over, and he went to walk away, and he turned around and looked at me and goes, oh, I'll tell you later. And in that moment of, oh, I'll tell you later, I'm like, oh, he is too chicken to tell me that I'm in a bag. Like, I just knew. And so my poor husband, John, walks in and he's like, head down. And I didn't do the whole, I love you, honey, hi, all that. I just went, I'm in a bag, aren't I? And the poor man has to be like, yeah, you are. I mean, and that was the whole thing that him and I had to figure out. And he goes, yeah, honey, you are. And I went, okay, well, God gave me a second chance in life. It was almost like something happened during the wake-up call of, listen, you've got to, we have to do this. And me going, you know what, I've got another chance at this life. Like, what am I thinking? What am I doing? And so I said, all right, well, Tyra wants me to fly out to California next week. We've got to go do this stuff. We've got to go work, and I've got this life, and now we got to, and I was just like, I'm out of the hospital this is Friday. I'm out of the hospital on Monday, and then life is going on, right? Like, and when the doctor's like, you're here till next week. I go, no. You don't know me. I'm out. I will be out of here on Monday. And I did. I left I left on Tuesday, but I was out of the hospital on Tuesday. I jumped on a plane on the following Sunday. Don't recommend it to everybody, but got permission from the doctors and all this stuff. But I mean, I was sewed up, my butt, I had, because we can talk about ostomy surgery, and because nobody talks about what an ostomy is or what a colostomy is. We can absolutely. Yeah. So basically, it's a diversion of your intestines. So when you go to the bathroom, it can happen in your bladder, and it can happen with your small intestine or your large intestine. And mine is the large intestine, so colostomy, right? Okay. Your ostomy is bladder, right? Urine, urostomy. Ileostomy is your ileum, right? So your small intestine. So they all function a little different. So with mine, particularly, they had to take all my rectal muscles to get the cancer. So I had no control. So there would have been no, it would have just come out. Like, I wouldn't have been able to stop it or feel it or anything. So they took about 1 foot of my colon out, and they diverted my intestine outside of my stomach, right? So they just cut a hole in your abdomen wall, and they pull the intestine through, and they fold it like a sock. Like, it's folded like a sock. Yeah. And so I can look at, and I have my intestine, it sticks out about inch and a half outside of my stomach. And I literally watch my intestine sometimes. I'm like, this, like, in the beginning, I'm like, this is the coolest thing. Kind of like Walking Dead a little. Like, I can see what's happening. Yeah. I can see all that stuff. But, so you do that, and then and so they call that little sock a stoma. Because I got very confused. I'm like, what are all these words? Yeah. Like, I've never heard these words before. Like, what's a stoma? What's an ostomy? What's an ostomate? Yeah.
I was just asking that before the show. Yeah. I was like, all right, what are these words? I don't know them.
How do you say them?
Yeah, how do you say them?
Ostomy, ostomate, what does that mean?
Exactly.
So we use ostomy as the whole thing. A stoma literally is that little the little piece of your intestine that's sticking out of your abdomen wall. You cover it with a barrier that has a hole in it, and you put a bag over it that collects anything that comes out, right? Okay. And then depending upon, like, mine is permanent, so we call it a Barbie butt. So I'm all sewed up back there, right? So nothing can ever be removed because they took everything. A foot of my colon, my rectum, all that, and sewed me up. So this is permanent for life. And I was 45 at the time. And I was like, I know I had that great attitude, but there was a lot to unpack after. There was a lot.
I can't even imagine,
Yeah. Because it was, what do I wear? Because the first parts of it, you're thinking, right? Like, am I gonna smell? Or I do smell, because you're smelling it more than anybody else in the beginning, right? I'm like, I'm gonna smell, I'm gonna be ugly, I'm not gonna be attractive, I'm not gonna be able to wear the clothes I wanna wear. I'll never wear white again. That's why I wear white all the time, right?
That's awesome that you're wearing white.
Yeah, it's like, because you think,
you're thinking the worst, and you're not knowing how you're gonna get through these challenges. Yeah. And so how did you get through those challenges? First of all, you have an amazing attitude.
Thank you.
I love it. You have amazing energy.
Thank you.
And to go from, being, in a bikinis and everything, and ready to work with Tara Banks. I mean, to all of a sudden you're in the hospital for so many days. How many days?
I was only there for 4 days.
For 3 or 4 days.
People have been there for weeks.
Major surgery.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm out of here.
I'm outta here.
I'm going to LA
Yeah.
because life is going to continue.
Yeah.
God is great.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
So, wow, that's
Yeah.
like an amazing story. Where were your so as you're like, all right, all these questions,
Yeah.
and how did you get through it?
Yeah. That is
Because the Beautiful Bag podcast wasn't there for you.
No, I was on Google and I was scared and it was ugly and it was just, I remember the first time in the hospital before I left when they went to show me my very first bag change. And if anybody's been in the hospital and you know, like you go through surgery and regular bathroom breaks, I'll call them, don't smell so great, right? Never mind being an ostomy, like it's worse, especially in the beginning. But I remember the first bag change, and John was in the room, and the nurse came in and said, okay, we're gonna change your bag, and he got up and left. And he got up and left to give me privacy, because it's not like you don't sit in, well, some people do, but I mean, I still don't. Like I still don't, you know, I can't sit on the toilet and poop anymore. but Privacy. We need that, right? So I turned around and I was like, you know, he left because he's like, I'm giving you some privacy for what you need to do. I didn't know that in the moment. So he left, and all I thought was, I'm ugly, I smell, I stink. He's not going to find me attractive. Just like I felt just this whole wave of dread, and I was, you know, God, don't let that happen. Like, and it was almost like this white cloud came and blew it all away, you know. But it was in the communication with him, and over time, I mean, we had been together, we've been together since 2001, so this is 2016 at the time, right? So we had been together long enough to know, right? Like 15 years at the time. And I remember just going into my closet and sitting on the floor because I'm like, I can't wear low-rise jeans anymore, and I can't wear fitted clothes, you know, clothes that fit me tighter because you're going to see the outline of the ostomy, and what if I go to the bathroom and I can't wear white? Like, and it took me experimenting with myself and giving me permission, because in the beginning it was like I was wearing leggings and bigger shirts, and I'm like, this isn't who I am, right? Like, this isn't my personality. And I was like, well, let me try. Let me see if I wear just this one outfit, what it looks like. And I started to just slowly step into that from a clothing perspective, because we're women. We want to be sexy and fit and feel good and stylish and all those things. Like, we want that. So I did those in little steps, and that started it. I remember, so then, I mean, me and my personality, I'm like, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do another competition with my bag.
That's amazing.
It was a year and a half after, and I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it because I need to. And so I did. So I did another fitness competition with it, and got on the stage, and people stood up and applauded, and I had these big black wings that I opened, and all I could think of is not the ostomy bag.
I have insane goosebumps. Oh my gosh.
But I was more worried about falling in the big tall heels that you're supposed to wear on the stage than I was about people looking at my bag at the time. But I'm just like, you know what, here I am. Like, here I am. And if I can do this and be beautiful and feel good in my skin, then so can you, no matter what your situation. And so then from there, the podcast was created. I recently put the podcast about a year ago on hold. It has like 130 episodes, interviewing other ostomates. I mean, people are now, 10 years later, there's all these young people that have ostomies because of Crohn's, colitis, IBD, all those things, but they're now out on social media talking about it. I just saw one guy yesterday, had been on a live television show. He's from Australia. He's from London. I think he's from London or Australia. He has the accent. Anyways, he changed his bag on live TV.
Wow.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, no, there is no way you would see this body, like, changing. Like, he literally took his pouch off, put a tissue over it, and then put a new one on to show, like, everybody in the world, live TV, like, this is how you change your bag. I was like, a little... I won't be doing that. Like, I'll stand there and take pictures of me in a bikini with my pouch on.
You looked so beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh my gosh,
you.
beautiful.
Thank you. I mean, now I'm like, okay, now I'm 55, and now I'm trying to be like, all right, should I cover her up a little bit more? I've got grandchildren now. Because, I mean, if I wouldn't have done what I did, if it wasn't for this ostomy, I wouldn't have watched my kids get married. I wouldn't have watched, you know, some of them have children. I wouldn't have grandchildren. My whole life would have been completely different. And I created the podcast specifically because I started hearing stories of people who would rather choose dying than living with an ostomy. And I said, well, if I can do anything to change that, then I'm going to jump in and I'm going to do that. So that's what I've been doing for the last, you know, it's really been 10 years since my ostomy. I've partnered with Hollister Incorporated, which is the medical device company that I'm contracted with, and I've been contracted with them. I just signing my 7th year contract with them. You know, focus group work, social media work, speaking engagements, things like that, like getting the word out to everyone. Like, this is what an ostomy is, this is what the stories are, but also, whether you have an ostomy or not, I mean, we are all hard on ourselves.
We are.
On how we look, on how we feel, on what we do on a daily basis, and it's like, we need to really truly appreciate these beautiful bodies that we have. Never mind the back, like every body in any style and anything that we're going through, we're beautiful.
I
period.
totally agree.
You know?
Yeah, we are harder on ourselves than anything, and you can live a beautiful life and overcome anything.
Yeah, you really can. I mean, it just makes you stronger.
It does make you stronger.
You know, it just makes you a better person. It makes you a stronger person. It's, you know, it's cliche to say, like, God only gives you what you can handle. And sometimes I'm like, I can't handle anymore. I'm over it. Like, let me just chill for a little bit. Like,
exactly.
You know, like, I need to relax a little. Don't need any more pressure. But you know, but it's true. Like,
it is true.
If any, I mean, if you think about all the things, like all the little hurdles that we do. I mean, whether it's, you know, raising children or getting married or going through difficulties with a marriage or starting a business or running a business or work or whatever it is, it's like every time we do a little, like that little, remember there was this little poster of a cat just taking one step in front of the other, like just take one step in front of the other, we grow. I mean, that's the growth of, that's life, right? Like, it's what we do.
We grow, we share, we help others, and others help us when we connect.
Yeah.
And it's just so beautiful.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. I mean, this life can be a great thing.
It's embracing the lessons and the blessings. Yeah. Overcoming.
For real. For real. And that's, I mean, that's pretty much the gist of the story. Now it's just every day, one day at a time, just doing what I like to do best, and, you know, growing in a community, and, you know, taking care of my body and working out still. I mean, I do more now than I think I did prior.
It's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
So you're 55?
Yeah, 55.
All right, I'm 56.
Yep, there we go. Yeah.
And it is, the juggle is real, and we catch the balls that we can catch, and those, just let it go.
Yeah, exactly. It's just in.
But it is amazing what you can overcome when you ask for help, or you just know this is what God wants you to do.
Exactly.
And overcome your fears. I mean, it's just, it's a lot, though.
It is a lot. I mean, but I look at it like, I have a pre-cancer life and a post-cancer life, a pre-ostomy life and a post-ostomy life. And this post-ostomy life for me is, I've got a second chance, and I'm not gonna mess it up. You know, like, I've waited. I wanted to go to Italy most of my life, right? And it was like 4 years ago. I looked at my husband and said, well, I'm done waiting on you, on, you know, doing it perfectly, like the way he wanted to do it. I said, I'm going on a yoga retreat by myself in Italy, like, right? End of COVID, 2022, masks were off. I'm like, I'm on a plane. I'm out of here. So I flew by myself into Italy, first time ever. I stayed a month. He started going, are you coming home? And I'm like, wow, I don't know,
amazing.
But this is such an experience that I might not ever come back here, that I want to take it all in. I've been back 3 more times since then.
Oh my God,
right?
that's amazing.
Like, Italy just calls my name. I'm like, it's calling me, I've got to go.
Italy. Yes. Let me know the next time you're going to go.
I will. It's like the wine, the pasta, the history, just the beauty. Yeah.
Oh,
so,
it's so magnificent.
Yeah, but it's like.
So you are living beyond a beautiful life.
Oh, yeah.
Finding that perfect balance. So where can we find you? What's the latest thing that you're doing? Is there anything that you want to specifically share about that
Oh,
you're
I would
doing?
love that. So I'm in the beauty and wellness field. I am building another business around that world. You can find me I have my own website. It's called LeeAnneHayden.com. Really pretty simple to find me. LeeAnne Hayden, HAYDEN.com. Right on my website, I have all kinds of information on ostomy and then just in life in general for women, starting to build off this surgical menopause, right? Role, and then even on social media, it's pretty much LeeAnne Hayden everywhere. I kind of every time a new social media platform comes, I'm like, I need my name. Nobody else can have my name. I need my name.
Grab your name.
Sometimes you have to add a one or whatever after, but yeah.
But you have a beautiful, unique name.
Thank you. But some people take it.
They do?
They do. I'm on there. I'm like, wait, that's my name. You
Yeah,
can't
you're
use
like,
my
wait a
name.
second.
That's
Yeah.
me. That's me. And no, there's more LeeAnne Hayden
That's why
out
I
there.
said L-E-E, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
Because not everyone spells it that way.
No, it's hard to find someone to spell
Yeah.
it my way, but there is, and
love
I'm
it.
like, wait, who is that chick? I need my name back.
Give me my name back. You got your name.
Exactly.
And then some.
Exactly.
Oh my
exactly.
gosh.
Exactly.
Well, we'll have to have you back on.
Yeah.
Talk some more.
I would love
And
that. I would love
Thank you
that.
so much for. And so, how do you chill?
How do I chill? Oh my
Yes.
word! I am really good at chilling now.
That's
my
good.
nervous system. I have really tapped into my nervous system. How I chill is, I take those moments. I go for my walks. I meditate every morning. I have my coffee. I do read the Bible. I love God. I believe in Jesus. All that. So, anyways, I have my Bible moments. I meditate. I take my walks. I get my massage. I get monthly massages. You got to do my facials, all that stuff. So yeah, no, I chill.
Sorry. So she's a great chiller.
I am a great chiller.
So check her out, LeeAnneHayden.com.
Yes.
And thank you so much.
Chrissy, thank you so
Oh my
much
God,
for what
this
you're
is so
doing.
awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. I love sharing and connecting. I learn and grow, and together anything is possible.
It really is,
You
and
know?
you're doing a great job with it.
Thank
so
you.
keep it up.
Thank you.
Keep it
I
up,
really
seriously.
appreciate it. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
Yay.
We love you. God
Love you
bless
guys.
you.
Bye, guys.
Thank you. Have a beautiful day.